Hi there, folks, and welcome back to Airgun Reporter, the only show produced by airgun enthusiasts for airgun enthusiasts. My name is Paul Capello, and on today's episode, we're going to check out a high-end pre-charged pneumatic air rifle, the Beeman HW100. Let's go ahead and go over some features. The HW100 we have here today is the 22 caliber version, but it's also available in 177 caliber and 20 caliber, and all three models come with a 14-shot rotary clip. That's right, 14 shots. It has side lever cocking action that's very smooth and very light. We'll get to that when we test it out. Each one comes with a beautiful walnut stock. The inletting is very nicely cut. Raised cheek piece. Very light checkering on the grip and the forestock, and a rubber butt pad. Very nice stock on this. Also, this is a shrouded pre-charged pneumatic air rifle to keep your shots nice and quiet. It has a removable reservoir in case you want to go out and buy another one to take with you in the field or for a day of target shooting. The pressure gauge or a manometer is located on the front of the reservoir here. Let's get to the trigger. Reportedly, it's just over a half a pound. This is a match grade trigger. There's one thing I don't like about this rifle, and that's the fact that you cannot put it on safe unless the rifle is cocked. I think that's not a great design there, but we'll get to that when we test it out, and I'll show you just how it works. Now, this does not come with open sights, of course. It's a shrouded air rifle, but we are going to use a 6.5 to 20 by 42 millimeter Hawk scope for our testing. I think it's a nice fit for this air rifle. So without further ado, let's take the HW100 to the Air Lodge and do some testing. All right, so we're up here in the world famous indoor airgun shooting range, the Air Lodge, and we're about to do some chrony testing. Our first pellet will be the JSB Jumbo Exacts. Let me get this clip loaded up here with 14 pellets, and then I'll show you how it's loaded into the rifle. I love the fact that this holds 14 rounds. You'll spend less time loading and more time shooting if you're hunting or even just target shooting. Pellets load nice and easily. The nice thing about these JSB Jumbo Exacts is they have a very soft skirt, very thin walled. And if you see the skirt of a JSB pellet just a little bit crimped, I wouldn't worry about it too much because that's going to reshape once the pellet is fired. So here we go. We have our 14 pellets loaded. Now let's put it inside the breech, and I'll show you how that's done. Turn this around here. Unfortunately, you have to cock the rifle in order to put the clip in, and pop it in. Close that. Close the breech. I'm going to put it back on safe. Again, you have to cock the rifle in order to put it on safe. There is no way around that. And that's something I don't like about this rifle. I've seen something like this when I tested out the Prairie Falcon. It had the same type of safety. The rifle had to be cocked in order to put it on safe. Airguns like the Evonix line has a hunter style safety, which is located in basically the same place, but you can switch that on and off without having to cock the rifle, and I really like that. Also, you can load the clip into an Evonix rifle without having to cock it. All right, so let's go ahead, get the chrony set up here, and we'll take 10 shots and see how powerful this rifle is with the JSB Jumbo Exact. The cocking is very easy on this rifle. It's just a little click and that's it. There's very little resistance. And I just keep nailing that bullseye down range. Wow. This pellet is just following a laser beam right to the bullseye. Okay, with the JSB Jumbo Exacts, which are 15.9 grains, let's say 16, round it off to the nearest number there. We have a low velocity of 859.9 feet per second, a high velocity of 877.6, an average of 869 feet per second, an extreme spread of 17.7 feet per second, and a standard deviation of 4.8. Okay, so based on those calculations, let me use my calculator and we'll figure out the ballistic energy. Now it says on the Pyramid Air website that it's approximately 26 foot-pounds of energy with about the same weight pellet. So let's see here, 869 multiplied by itself, multiplied by the weight, which is 16 grains, divided by our constant, which is 450240, equals 26.8 foot-pounds of energy. Right on the mark. Okay, accuracy testing, JSP Jumbo Exacts. Let's see what we get. Well, I think you folks are gonna like this. Well, for accuracy, folks, the HW100 is worth every penny. This thing is a frickin' tack driver. I mean, take a look at it. We've got about 3/16 to 1/4 of an inch center to center. I think it's less than 1/4 of an inch. We also got lucky with our next pellet, which was the 22 caliber Beeman Kodiaks. That gave us another group approximately the same size, 3/16 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch at 20 meters. That's just a great 5-shot group right there. Now, I didn't charge up the rifle back to 2900 PSI after doing the Chrony test because I think this gets plenty of shots per fill, and that's going to be our next experiment. Let me charge it back up to 2900 PSI or 200 bar, and we'll see just how many shots per fill we get from this rifle. Okay, I've loaded some inexpensive pellets into our clip here. Why waste the good ones? I'm using RWS Hobbies 22 caliber. And what we're gonna do is keep shooting until the pellets start to fall from the bullseye there. I've charged it back up to 2900 PSI, so let's see what we get. Okay, well, it looks like my point of impact began to fall after about 66 shots. That's how many we get from a 2900 PSI fill up. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the trigger testing. Okay, well, I'll have to say that the match grade trigger on the HW100 is what you should come to expect on an air rifle in this price range. Looks like we have an average of 11 ounces, and I have to say that this trigger breaks nice and crisp. The first stage is nice and light. The second stage breaks really nicely. Okay, well, it's time to move on to the sound level testing part of the Airgun Reporter videos. And I recently got an email from a fan who said that he believes our sound meter is a little bit close to the muzzle and believes that the blast of air is affecting our readings. He says that on average, the distance from a firearm to a sound meter is about 10 feet. So, for the sake of argument, we're gonna move out our sound level meter a few feet away from the muzzle and see how that affects the sound. Okay, it looks like the loudest reading we got with our meter was 101.3 decibels, and that puts the HW100 in the medium loudness category according to my tests, which are not scientific. Now, we did move the meter a little bit further away than usual, not 10 feet like our fan suggested, but there's no way that the blast of air from the muzzle can affect the meter at this distance. It's also a little bit off to the left of the muzzle here. So, let's go ahead and wrap up the show. Well, I have to say, folks, that a rifle costing over $1,200 has a lot to live up to. And I have to say that the HW100 lived up to every single one of my expectations. It's beautifully made, it's accurate, and with the exception of that little quirk on the safety, which can only be engaged when the rifle is cocked, I think that this is one of the air rifles that you're going to want to hold on to for a long time. Impress your friends, go out there, do some hunting with 26 foot-pounds of energy, or just do some target shooting all day long with over 50 shots with a 2900 PSI fill-up. I have to say, I am very impressed with this rifle, and I think it's worth every single penny. For Airgun Reporter, my name is Paul Capello. Until next time, shoot safe and have fun. Please remember, folks, air guns are not toys. Even the smallest calibers can cause serious injury if not used properly. And you should never, under any circumstance, point an air gun at a person. Parents, if you teach your children to shoot responsibly, they will have a lifetime of airgun enjoyment.